My turn. We're here today to honor the memory of a very special ship, her mission, her crew, their families, and their special bond with the island of Rhodes and its people. When viewed from a great distance, a casual observer familiar with ships of that era would not think of the U.S. Coast Guard. What are those upside-down cones near the bow? What are the wires strung between the mast used for? Won't they get all tangled up in the booms? Why is there a tall, curved fence wrapping around the stern of the ship? Those external features, plus the generators and the cabinets full of electronics hidden below her decks, made the Courier a very unique specimen of something called the C1MAV1 species. The Courier was a floating radio transmitting station for the Voice of America, as you have heard. It was a one-of-a-kind marvel for both the Coast Guard and for the Voice of America. Telling the story of the Courier's unique nature and her very special 12-year mission in Rhodes during the Cold War is the purpose of the exhibit, which is being revealed to you and to the world today. We're here today to dedicate this exhibit to the memory of this great ship, to honor her crew, their families, some of whom are right here in this room, some of whom couldn't make the trip to be here with us because of health concerns, and sadly, many of whom have crossed the bar, which separates the river of life from the deep beyond. My brief remarks, hopefully they're brief, would be incomplete and inadequate if I didn't extend my personal special thanks to many individuals. To my childhood friends, Clint McAuliffe, Lance Arlander, I thank them for noticing the missing story in this museum when our association held a reunion here 5 years ago in 2009. I'd like to thank Maria Lauder for her enthusiasm and her tireless efforts to get this project off the ground, for her fundraising efforts, and for her efforts to make this reunion happen. To Captain Michael White and Lieutenant Michelle Rice for their help in introducing us to Jennifer Gaudio, the curator of this museum. To Jennifer, for not only accepting our proposal of gifting a model of the Courier to the museum, but enthusiastically welcoming the idea and expanding its scope to include a display that explains the Cold War to the cadet community in the context of the Courier's mission. To Aubrey Hawk, Jennifer's intern, for her dedication and talent in designing the exhibit and taking some of the pressure off Jennifer. To Denise Clemens for lending us her expertise in all things museum, and for acting as our expert interface to Jennifer, and for shielding Jennifer from some of the internal squabbles of our association. To Juliana Callis for her exceptional efforts in raising funds for the project, including donations from many folks that had nothing at all to do with the Courier, but who nevertheless felt compelled to help us out when they heard about the ship's story. To Max Anastopoulos for his efforts to make the foundation a legal tax exempt. To Michael Wall of the American Marine Model Gallery for pairing us with a model maker second to none. To Donald Pirrell of the U.S. Naval Academy Museum for his devotion and expertise in designing and building a detailed model of the Courier, which I will tell you from personal experience will powerfully bring up memories much more than a photograph for those of you who knew her and served on her. I'm going to repeat myself again here to Clint McAuliffe, I mentioned him earlier, and to Grant McClendon for their efforts in putting the finishing touches on the wonderful photographic exhibit in back of you. and to everyone who made a donation to our cause to make this exhibit possible. Whether your donation was $2, $2,000, or something in between, it helped make all of this possible, and I thank you. To my mom and dad for bringing me into this world, and to the U.S. Coast Guard for giving us, Mom, Dad, and myself, the most life-altering, educational, formative, and rewarding experience that anyone could possibly imagine, a posting to the Courier in Rhodes, Greece. Finally, if I can do this, allow me to quote a verse from the Navy hymn, which is meant to be used on the occasion of a ship's decommissioning. If it wasn't used in the Courier's final decommissioning, it should have been. And when at length her course is run, her work for home and country done, of all the souls that in her sailed, let not one life in thee have failed, but hear from heaven our sailors' cry, and grant eternal life on high. Thank you, and I would now like to turn the podium over to Maria Lauder, Mary to us who know her best, and for her words. Thank
you. I'm here today to thank all of you. Without you, we would not be here. And the United States Coast Guard Academy, who was so gracious to accept our gift, and the tremendous help everyone and this fine institution have helped us for a year and a half. I want to thank everyone. And also, I'd like to thank the ones that are not here. And I want to remind everybody, another reason that I'm here, I'm a Rhodian, and post-World II, Rhodes was devastated. We had nothing. We were in rambles, and the United States Coast Guard Courier came in, and all of a sudden, we had jobs, we had money, we built our island. And that's why I'm thanking the United States Coast Guard of America for building my island. You folks have given us life, and most of all, our pride. We became again the Rhodians who have a lot of pride and to live on and be who we are now. And I want to thank all of you. The first generation, the second generation, and the third generation. Thank you very much, and we live in a history that will be here long after we're gone. The history that the United States Coast Guard Courier deserves, and its crew, and the families, and the children. We grew up together. Yes, we did up sometimes, but it was fun. And thank you very much for giving the island of Rhodes its pride and its people. And thank you for having us.
At this time, folks, I would like to invite Mrs. Bonnie McAuliffe, Mrs. Jean Arlander, Mrs. Frida Anastopoulos Kolfeld, and Mr. Calvin Gibson to please step forward and to help us to reveal this model.
Beautiful model. My goodness.